Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is John with Flippin' Ain't Easy. And as you see, Jenna's not with me today. And I guess somebody out there can probably figure it out that I was sick earlier in the week and she's recovering from being ill and she just didn't sound all that great. So she's kind of past the worst of it, but she's not feeling well. And I told her, look, she was actually going to be a trooper and try to make it for the live, but I told her, I said, look, it's not fair to you to try to force you to kind of go through this. If you're not feeling well, then stay in bed. So we have company. Of course, what happens when you live in Vegas, we have company coming over, not to the house, but to Vegas this weekend. And we're supposed to go out and eat dinner and all that stuff tomorrow night. So I want her to rest up so that she's feeling up to doing that. So today I want to get to the subject here at hand, and then we'll get to just some conversation. And that is talking to you guys about the new feature, the setting up automatic offers. And I just did that today on my main account. And I did so before I even made it the topic for this live stream. How many times do you guys wake up in the morning and look at your phone, go on the PC, or the Apple, the Mac, whatever you guys do, and go to your account, Seller Hub, and you find, wow, I've got 10 offers to send. And that's great, but you don't know when those offers, the watchers that is, were in place. It could have been somewhere at 2 in the morning, 5 in the morning. You could have seen this like 6, 7, 8 hours after you were notified, when you're never really notified. It's put into your Seller Hub. And then you go to send an offer, and then it says, well, this buyer's not accepting offers, or we cannot send an offer to this buyer at this time. I'm not sure the exact verbiage, but it says something to that effect. And that's because they've exceeded the number of offers that eBay is allowing the buyer to receive. Because I guess, maybe that buyer has looked at a bunch of different items. We're interested in that item from a bunch of different sellers, and they don't want the buyer to feel like they're getting spammed with offers. So they cap it. I don't know the number, but I've seen this happen way, way too many times. And then we also wonder, we send an offer to a watcher and they never buy it. We send them a great offer, maybe 20, 30% off sometimes, depending on, your situation and, what you decide to offer. And they never get back to you. And you kind of scratch your head wondering, this doesn't make any sense. I use this feature, but I really don't get a lot of traction from it. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that buyers, they want whatever they're looking for right now. It's the way the world is. We want instant gratification. We want the item that we're looking for within our budget. If we find it, we're going to buy it. Get offers after the fact. Well, I'm not going to respond to it. I don't even care. I don't need it. That's the mentality of a buyer. So that's why as sellers, we get so many offers that we send without response of any kind. Of course, the only response you're going to get is a sale. And it's because we're kind of too late. And I think a tool like this that allows you to go in and have eBay do it for you. Now, I'm going to show you here what the message is, and I'm going to get to that here just in a second. Just bear with me if you can. Of course, what's new? I'm scrambling around today and trying to get my stuff done, and then of course make the show, and then I get a phone call 5 minutes before we launch. So that's why I was delayed. Let's see. I think this is it. No, it's not. Here it is. Saving time. There we go. So hopefully you guys can see this. It says save time by automating your offers to buyers. eBay store subscribers can now fully automate sending offers to buyers across the inventory you choose. Offers to buyers is a powerful tool to boost sales. However, we know that manually initiating offers can be time-consuming, especially for sellers with large inventories. We've been working to simplify how you send offers, introducing bulk manual offers and automatic offers for single listings. Now you have access to fully automate automatic offers across your inventory. I think this is really good news because it's just another task you don't have to deal with anymore. I mean, you can have eBay automate this whole thing for you. Now it says with this new feature, instead of manually initiating offers, you can now select the criteria for what listings to include and set the offer terms. We'll automatically send your offer to eligible buyers who show an interest in the listings that fit your criteria, including any new listings that you create. You can set how long your automatic offers will run for a maximum of 150 days. Now, this is where eBay has got it all screwed up. It says here's where you how to create and manage your automatic offers. You do go to your buyer groups page. Well, okay, there it is, your buyer groups page. So you want to go and do Seller Hub, Marketing tab, the buyer groups page, and then set up automatic offers. So I can do that here, and hopefully you guys are still with me. So just double check that you guys can see what I can see. Hopefully you can. Okay. So I guess you can't. Let me get to that other page here. Bear with me, guys. Okay. I'm still getting used to this whole thing where you go in to share the screen, so I apologize for the delay. But here we go. So hopefully you guys are seeing what I see now. So you want to go to your buyer groups. You see right here on the left, right there, buyer groups. Click on that. Okay, and you're within the marketing dashboard, by the way, clicking that link. So now it just kind of tells you all this stuff. You can go into, where did it go? Because I was just here. Okay, so here we go. Send automated offers right here on the left. It says interested buyers. Convert interested buyers into spending customers with automated, or into spending customers with automated offers. So send automated offers. And then you can select all inventory, eBay categories, store categories. You can set a price range, which I think I did like $5 to $100. Anything over $100, I usually kind of want to really evaluate where I'm at in that item before. Maybe I'll send a more aggressive offer. So I won't use that in this particular automation tool. You can set a buyer group name. So in this case, it just defaults to interested in all inventory. You might have something like antiques or something like that to distinguish how you're going to set it up. And then you go next. And then you go percentage off of whatever percentage. So I do like a standard 10%. You can put a message. I have a custom message. You can use the one that eBay gives you. But, you know, I think any message that creates a sense of urgency is where you want to be. Allow counter offers. You can toggle this on or off. Some people like the fact that it starts the engagement with the buyer. Now, maybe they send a 5% offer to start. So I apologize, guys. I had this internet working great. Today it went down like 30 minutes ago. I went through and fixed it. Thought, okay, this happens once in a while. But I didn't think it was going to do that again. So that's exactly what happened. So my internet crashed on me. I don't know how far we went. I'm not going to go through that again. But hopefully that was self-explanatory. And I think that if you're still with me, that is a good feature. The feature that I think we should have had a long time ago to be able to automate this. And anytime that eBay can provide a tool that allows us to automate things, the better. Now, I can tell you that the folks that I'm working with, TreeCat, they are working on automating a bunch of things. And one thing I will share with you is that's coming within the next, I'd say 2 to 3 weeks. That's the plan, is to automate to schedule end item sell similar, which they call schedule delist relist, but it works the same way. And you can, schedule it to relist or delist, relist, delist, sell similar, same thing every day up to like 29 days if you want to do it once a month. And you can have that automate so you don't have to go in and do it like a daily task or a weekly task. So just something to keep in mind, and check out the link down below if you're interested. Use my link to get over there and sign up. Currently, it's still free if you're looking to cross list. Now, you got to cross list to have access to all these tools. Eventually, they're going to have the sharing feature on Poshmark as well. So they're really ramping up this thing to really make it work for cross listers who actually want to take advantage of all these features that are either taking your time to do, like end item sell similar, or the whole sharing your closet thing at Poshmark. So something to check out. So who do we have with us today? Biff Boffo says, I agree we need to strike when the iron is hot with offers, but my offers are tailored to the age of the listing, so I'll continue to do it manually, even if the overnight offers might go stale. And I get it. You know, sometimes you want to be more aggressive with the offer if you've had it sitting around for a long time. Other times, you know, you just listed it last night. So it's like, I'm not going to give an aggressive offer. I really don't even want to give an offer right now, which I think you probably still want to do at least the 5%. That's the minimum offer. So you can get, eBay gives you that boost. And I know this because you send an offer, maybe you give them a pretty deep discount. You wake up the next morning and it's sold at full price. Happens way too often for it to be a coincidence. Primo Chemo, aloha John in chat, feel better Jenna, Yahoo for automatic offers. Now, I am going to apologize here to you guys for a second, because if you commented before we started or a few minutes into the live, I lost your comments. I don't know what happened here. So if you want to comment or ask a question, maybe you started off with the question, please do, and I'll get to it. I'll make sure I get to it. Got Darth Thrifter, $2 to pay your internet bill. You know what? These guys are actually pretty good. You know, their WeLink is what the company is. And honestly, instead of paying $130 a month for the Gigablast through Cox Internet, this is like $70 a month, and they're just as fast as far as I'm concerned. We don't video game, really. We don't. I mean, I have an Xbox, but I don't do anything like that. So aside from live streaming, that's really all we need it for. And I got to tell you, though, if this continues to happen, I might consider going back, because I'm not going to settle for this kind of thing happening. Paul Rose says, Bean Josh. Where is Bean Josh? I haven't seen him. So if you have, tell him to pop back in here, because I haven't heard from him in a while. Tribe Time says, all the automatic offer is a way for buyers to take advantage of sellers. So if a buyer just likes an item, an offer will get sent. No thanks, I'll pass on this feature. Now, I see what you're saying on that, but how many sellers are really going to do that to cause this to change buyer behavior? I don't think, you know, even if every one of us watching right now, we have 120 people watching, and if we all did it, there's not enough interaction with all the buyers on the platform that's going to change buyer behavior. You know, they're looking, they're not, most buyers aren't on the site to game the system. You're going to deal with some buyers that do get on the site to game the system, but most buyers are on the site to find the item that they're looking for. And if they find it, they buy it. Sometimes they're just shopping. I mean, there's a number of things that I'm trying to buy right now that I'm a very careful shopper. I want the right thing, and I'm not going to pull the trigger right away. And they may sleep on it. Well, guess what? They wake up in the morning and there's an automated offer that they have waiting for them. They might jump on it. So just something to think about. Darth Thrifter says, I need to set up automatic sales. How do you do that? Yeah, well, you just got to be automatic with your processes and continue to just make listing and fixing your items a daily routine. Now, eBay says you don't have to list daily, but I really think you need to ingrain that I need to be working within eBay daily to get the full effect. Because, you know, like last weekend was gone. You guys know that. And eBay knew that. It just, for whatever reason, because I had items scheduled to launch, but I wasn't in there doing the things that I normally do on a Saturday or Sunday. And it knew. I didn't get nearly the traffic, or not traffic, but the results. And then Monday, as soon as I started getting back to work, here come the sales again. Paul Rose says, thanks, Ping. I didn't know that either. And I didn't know it either because I have no idea what you're talking about. Maya says, you know what, John? I wonder if this automatic offers is what caused my item to relist. It had 6 watchers, then sold to an offer to watcher. Then when it relisted, it got 4 watchers. Huh, interesting. You know, like any new feature, there's always that strong possibility that there's bugs within it. So I'm using it, but I don't know if you saw before I think this thing went out, I had 2 offers that were waiting, and I was just showing you I was setting up an automation. I already have one set up on this account. You can set up multiple automations for different things, like for this category or for that category. And it said that I had 2 waiting that it was going to apply it towards. So why those offers were even there and not part of the other automation, I have no idea. I'd have to look into it. Maybe the range of price or something like that. Maybe my higher ticket items were waiting to have offers sent. I don't know. I got to look at it. No One Design says, what? No Jenna going to open an INAD? Well, you know, it was a game time decision. So, you know, she has every intention on being here. As long as I'm here, she won't jump on here without me anymore, I guess, even though I've tried to get her to do it. But yeah, I think it's best that she would just be sitting here, you know, maybe chiming in every once in a while, but your voice is kind of really messed up, and I'd rather her be resting, if we're being honest. Here's Josh Gall. Hey, Josh. Nice to see you. I didn't see your initial comment, so if you can please repost that, I'd appreciate that. We've got Immer Sell It. I'm a Resell It. Okay. I'm a Resell It. Darth Thrifter, what's up, man? We have Mike Camparelli with us. Says, hi, everyone. Just got back after 4 days away. Yes, you're at the Dominican Republic. Had 9 sales, didn't use time away, just adjusted my handling time. Don't know what is better. Sales were slow before I left, so about the same. Crickets today. You guys know me. I'm a big fan because I don't spend more than 5 or 6 days away at a time anyway. That I use the handling time. I adjusted out the maximum that I'm going to be gone. So like 5 days. And then I go 4 days, 3 days, 2 days, 1 day. Same day when I get back home. And that's kind of the way it works. And it works great. Samantha Hunter, ha ha ha. It's not highlighted though. I'm going to work on it. Thanks, Ping. How are you? So I missed a lot, I guess. Lala Preville, hopefully I got that right. Says, hi, I have over 5,000 items listed, but only getting 5 to 6 items sale every other day. That's every other day. Now, I'm sure you have some sales sprinkled in on the off days, but you're not getting consistency and you're probably not getting as many sales. So what should I do to increase my sales? Well, it's hard to say. And the first thing I look at is look at the type of item you're selling. Take a handful of items from your inventory that you really feel, wow, this should have sold by now. And go and look to see, has it even sold for anyone else? So that's number one on the flow chart. Okay. If it hasn't in the last 90 days, or maybe once in a while sold, maybe once, twice, 3 times in the last 90 days, and you look to see how many items are even up for that item. Maybe there's 2 sellers, maybe there's 100 sellers. That's going to tell you a story of the item's sell-through rate. Okay. And it's going to give you an idea of how in demand that item is. So if you keep finding that your item that you believe should have sold is in low demand, or if you're up against high competition, then that is probably the big problem. Now you could say, look, it wasn't like that years ago, but the markets change. So what sold great 2, 3, 5 years ago, in 2024, there's many items that are just like that, where the market's changing for that item. Then, so if you do find that the item has sold for other people, find out what is different about their listing. Do you charge shipping? Do they have free shipping? How is your price with and without shipping, your total price as compared to those items that have sold? How do your photos look? Do your photos look clear, or do you have a lot of problems going on there, your item specifics, all the things that we talk about. And there's usually an answer that lies within those questions right there. That's the best starting point. And, you know, if you're still finding that you're having problems with sales, despite, you know, you have great items, great price, it's something that I would be concerned about. Maybe there's a problem with your account, because see, eBay doesn't. Okay, so maybe you're not promoting. That's another thing. And I think that for many categories, not all, some you don't have to promote at all. But for many items, you got to at least promote 3%. Get off the 2% train, like a lot of people like to be. I'm going to promote 2% to say that I'm promoted. But those who aren't promoting, that just want to do the bare minimum, are stuck at 2%. So you want to be above that. That's why I'm always at 0.1 more than what I would normally be. So I'll go 3.1, 5.1, 7.1, 9.1, 10.1. That's my line. I won't go any higher than that. So there's a lot of factors involved, and no simple answer to get your sales to just turn back on. Callie Deb says, good to see you here. We miss you vids. Hope life is treating you well. Yeah, just love to see Josh again. I think you know, he's back at work, and I think he's got so much on his plate he hasn't been able to even drop in and say hi. Ping says, you won't see the highlight, but the other person will see it. So I want to know what that is. We've got Maya is with us. Fisher Flip says, no Jenna and John glitches. And hopefully that's the last one, guys. I apologize. Curious Collections with us. Duncan VR. John is frozen. Yeah, well, hopefully I'm back and there's no more problems with it. Josh is right there. Sook says, buddy of mine made more on his 3-week vacation than I made for 90 days. Wow, I'm killing it. Trying to get past some of this frozen talk here. Noah Design says, that's what you get, John, for trying to send an offer. eBay will freeze you. That's probably right. Maya says, eBay must have an alarm that goes off at their headquarters when John starts complaining about them. I don't know if it's complaining, because I think that's a good feature. And I really don't want you guys to think that, you know, when I get on here and make videos, it's a complaint. You know, this one is, in my opinion, good on eBay for giving us that option to implement that. That's just another thing that, you know, eBay wants us to do. It's in your overview. And I think it's just one more task that, okay, here I go again. You know, I got to send these offers, and it's just seems kind of tedious, especially when you're not getting a lot of sales. You almost don't even want to do it. And the idea that eBay is now giving us options to automate our business, it's a long time coming, and there needs to be more of those options, I believe. Let's see. Live streaming ain't easy. I agree with you on that. It is not easy, especially when your co-host isn't here with you. Let's see. Samantha, bad rain heading towards South Carolina. Maybe my weather. I am going to go out and come back. Well, no, it's not your weather. It was me. I apologize. Bernie M says, went ahead and liked the video. It was going so well. Let's see. Here's Josh. Rebooting his computer. He'll be back shortly. Anyone reading any good books they can recommend? Well, I'm still stuck on the list, Profit First, which is a book that's kind of talking about how you should really focus on taking the profit out before your expenses. And it seems kind of bass-ackwards. I get it, but there's a lot of good stuff there, and it's worth a read for sure. Io Gusto says, someone forgot to feed the hamster that turns the wheel of our internet. Well, I'm just glad it wasn't the entire internet. You know, there's been a lot of hacking and was it the cyber attacks and all that stuff. Yeah, good thing that's not what's going on. Let's see. Yeah, if you like the video, not only will you get a sale in the next 24 hours, I will be back. So, and usually whenever that happens, guys, I'm scrambling around. I will be back within minutes if you ever see that happen on this channel. Devon's with us. John, the aliens return you. Yes, they did. They borrowed me for a few minutes. Meg's with us. Hey, all. I arrived while the internet was down, and I assumed it was something on my end. Mike Seller says, I just set up my auto offer. I think it'll be a big help. For some, it will be, for sure. TreeCat's with us. Scheduled delist, relist. We're working on that now. As I mentioned, they are here with us in the chat. If you guys have any questions about the service, if you're using the service, maybe have a question about it, please put your comments in the live chat. And I believe Michelle, I'm not sure if it's Mike or Michelle, that's going to be, usually it's Michelle, but they will be glad to answer any of your questions. Suk says, making more sales on Mercari than eBay now. eBay algos are whacked. And for a lot of items, you're going to sell more stuff on Mercari than you will on eBay for a number of reasons. If you have an item that has a lot of drop shippers as competition on eBay, you're not going to have that same level of competition on Mercari. And the reason is there's API, there's programs that eBay allows to be attached to their service that allows these drop shipping programs to really allow it to be so easy to drop ship. And Mercari doesn't have that. Jim B says, that tool doesn't really work. I set it up now for all inventory, all interested buyers. Still shows me daily I can send offers to 4 people or whatever. That number should be 0 if working right. Yes, that should be the way it works, except if, like, for instance, I set 5 to 99.99, right, for my parameters. I want to take a closer look if it's $100 or more, and I don't have that as part of the tool. So if you have an item that's not within the parameters that you set, you're still going to have offers that's waiting for you to send. Amazon Seller 99 says, we have third-party service that had been making auto offers on eBay for us since 2021. It definitely works. Now, I'm wondering, that third-party service, did you have to pay for that tool? Now you really don't need a third-party tool since it's integrated within eBay, and maybe it's something that you can get rid of now. Maya didn't know that there was a specific tool for this. And yeah, it took about 2-3 minutes to navigate through their explanation and set it up. And you know what? Right now, we're just going to see how it works. It may work great, and it may be full of bugs. So let's just kind of be patient and see what happens here. Bear with me a second. A lot of talking after a lot of coughing the last few days, and it's just no good for your voice. Fisher Flip says, I'm sending 20% offers, and that sometimes isn't enough. And it isn't, because, you know, if you're sending an offer and someone's already fulfilled that need, I mean, even if you give them a great deal, it's like a need's already fulfilled. They're not gonna buy it. Ashley Sims says, hi, everyone. Duncan says, slower sales. I hit the like button and no luck. Hit that like button. I tell you it works. And of course, we give you your money back for hitting that button if it doesn't. Drew Trott says, good day, everyone. Well, thank you for being here, Drew. Appreciate you being here. Samantha Hunter says, feel better, Jenna. We miss you. Sidekick Comics says, greetings from Arizona. And we have Reef the Sea Forever. Thanks for being here. Duncan says, got to deal with a buyer of mine to buy parts of his collection over time. It pays to have multiple sources of supply in this game. I agree with you. You should always be on the lookout for new suppliers. And you know what? I keep telling myself this, and maybe I'm just so busy with the things that I'm doing that I just haven't done it. But I'm going to get some cards made up ASAP, because when you're out and about, yard sales, things like that, you might come across a person selling that might do it every month. And they're selling some of the things that you really want to have in your store. And it's good to try to establish that relationship. Give them a card. Say, hey, you know what? If you have more of this, instead of dragging it out here, I'd be glad to work with you. Or, you know, some people, I believe Mike Camparelli turned me onto this idea, and it's genius. You know, go to your yard sales. You find a lot of good stuff at that yard sale. And don't do it at every yard sale. But if you found a lot of good things at the yard sale, but maybe you're tapped out, or maybe you just didn't want to go through it all, or maybe you're kind of on the fence about some of it, leave the seller a card and say, hey, you know what? I'm interested in some of this stuff. If you're willing to come down on the price, maybe you just don't want to drag it back in your garage. You know, give me a call, hit me up, and make me a deal, and I'll come get it. And so these are all ways that you can really get inventory. Now, you got to really be getting a good deal to take all of it. So you might say, look, I'm interested in these items only. If you want to give me a deal, I'll be glad to come back up. Here's my card. And that's one way to do it. Let's see here. Suk says buyers want steals, not deals. I agree with that. And here's Paul. Thanks for posting it. First thing this morning on my iPhone, both the app and website said 0 active listings on both accounts. Was just about to request a call back when they all magically appeared. Concerning. There was according to e-commerce bytes, there was an outage. So eBay was down, parts of eBay. According to e-commerce bytes, eBay sellers hit by technical issues overnight. eBay sellers were stopped in their tracks in the wee hours of Friday morning, with one seller explaining on Down Detector around 1 a.m., which would have been right around, Paul, when you try to do it. If it's a.m. for you, 1 a.m., I believe that's probably Pacific time. They tried signing into my eBay account on the app on iOS, and the app kept crashing and could not log in without it crashing. So you're not the only one that had that issue. So not something to get alarmed at. Of course, it's just one more issue that we just have to navigate around with eBay, and it shouldn't surprise anyone at this point. Let's see. Darth says you got to like the stream for automatic sales. Yes, got to get those sales. Bernie M says automated offers will be awake 24 hours a day. I set mine up while John was off getting coffee. I don't drink coffee. This is my Mio, my little energy drink. I add it to my water and I'm good. Reef the Sea Forever says I was on the spring eBay call yesterday, and I'll tell you a story of why I wasn't there. But Reef says I was on the spring eBay call yesterday. eBay is working on getting paid for non-paying bidders, which is good. And this kind of makes you wonder why it's still happening. This is something that they established last year. I think I went months without a non-paying bidder, and I think I just had 2 that we had to cancel last week for non-payment. One had an issue with their address. It's like trying to send it to Puerto Rico, and for whatever reason, they're saying that it's not giving them the option to have it shipped. It's probably what it was is it's not allowing them to get the free shipping that they were hoping for, and I don't do free shipping, especially on larger items. But as far as I wasn't on that call yesterday, the spring seller check-in, I had to weigh my options. Had a friend Dave coming in from out of town. He's on Beard's show, and he came out to the conventions that they're having. They have ASD, and they have the closeout convention. And the closeout convention is one where you have a lot of wholesalers that are just closing out inventory, and you have to buy in bulk. You have to spend X amount of dollars. And we're kind of doing the Amazon thing. So I'm really right now, because I see a lot of changes to where I source normally, a lot of things changing to where it's not a good thing. And I can really see those changes changing how much I'm able to buy stuff for. And for this reason, I'm taking a proactive approach to learn Amazon RA, which is retail arbitrage, where you can go in and buy something for $3, and there's high demand for that particular item, sell it for $50, $60 plus dollars, and try to make a little money that way. So I'm always on the lookout, trying to change the business, not for the sake of changing, but staying one step ahead of any issues that may come up by having different ways of making money. Let's see. Devon says, my sales have been consistent, cannot complain. And really, I can't complain either. I'm looking at my sales. I mean, given that I only have a 210 item store, depending on the day of the week, and I generally strive to keep it over 200, I'm doing pretty darn good. 420 sold in the last 90 days with a 200 item store, making 10 to $14,000 a month in sales. That's not bad at all as far as I'm concerned. I'm very happy about that, but I'm not satisfied. So can I scale it? Can I scale it 2x to be 400 item store to get double that? It probably won't translate into double the sales, but it will. More items of the same quality should increase that number. So that's something that I'm constantly striving for, and I need to do better with. I really need to build a little bit bigger store than where I'm at right now. Reef the Sea Forever says also a new camera feature rollout with different AI backgrounds is going to be a nice feature, but I don't trust eBay to fulfill that properly. They're still working on an adequate background removal tool for white backgrounds, which is a feature that has been around in Photo Room and other apps for the longest time. And Photo Room's already doing the AI stuff where you say, like I have golf clubs. So I'll put golf clubs in front of a golf course backdrop. And then so it'll give me like a different looks from a golf course, and you choose the one that looks the best. And I've sold a bunch of sets of golf clubs using that, and it's worked really well. Suk says, who here has used phone to list? I do that. I use it as part of a process where I start the listing in a draft form on the PC, and then the weight, dimensions, price, photos are all loaded into that draft on the app, and then I launch it that way. Maya says, John, to explain, since you lost the comment, I sold a dress on Sunday, shipped it on Monday. Then Tuesday, I went to send offers to watchers, and there was the same dress relisted with 4 watchers. Interesting, huh? That's not surprising. And that is certainly something that's been happening with eBay for the longest time, where you sold an item and somehow that item ends back up in your inventory, and then you sell it. Now, good thing you caught it, right, before you sold it again, but you sell it, and now you're in a position where you have to cancel the transaction due to lost or broken. You know, if you break it too, which has nothing to do with your situation, you have an option to cancel, but that hurts your account, and that counts as a defect. And eBay will not fess up to them being the culprit. They'll always blame it on the seller. Big Dre says, hi, John. Sales have been steady, pulling some orders right now, finally listing on Grailed. And that's an interesting site. I just don't sell enough clothing to make it worth my while on that. I do have some clothing items up. Like, for instance, I have this Italia polo. It's from Italy. My buddy, he's going back to Italy, but he's had that shirt for the longest time. And it's a I believe it's a Ralph Lauren polo as well. And I have it for like $55 plus shipping. It's kind of in line with the comps for that particular shirt, even though there's not too many. And I got an offer from someone. They wanted to pay $30. So I figured, you know what? I'm good with that. I'll take $30 plus the shipping. And I send they send me a message. One of those people that only have 6 feedback. They send me a message, right? They could have sent an offer if they wanted to, but it gave me the option to send them an offer. So I sent them the offer for the amount that they said. And then they came back and said, for $30 free shipping. I said, no. I'm already giving you almost half off of this shirt. Just listed it not too long ago. You're going to have to either pay the shipping or, I'm just not all that interested. And then they came back with, well, is it close to being new? Just asking me all these questions. And Jenna was getting frustrated. And after about the 8th back and forth with this person, I said, you know what? I'm no longer interested in selling this item to you. So I'm going to cancel cancel my offer to you, which they didn't know, but I'm going to cancel my offer and you just have to find it elsewhere. And I went in and ended the item, sell similar, right? And block them so that they can't take me up on the initial offer. Sometimes you got to do it. I'm just not in the mood to go back and forth. And I know it's $5, but they didn't figure in they're going to have to pay sales tax and this, that, and the other. I just didn't want to bother with it. That item will sell. It has pretty good demand. Duncan's dealing with crickets, and that is unusual, Duncan. Usually you're doing really well. So hopefully you can get back on track here. Samantha Hunter says, John, is it a good idea to authenticate watches, sneakers, and video games? Well, certainly, if you have authentic items, there's really not a problem with utilizing eBay's authentication services. I've used them for many shoes and only had one come back, which I thought was kind of questionable because, it was from the same batch, the other ones that you passed through. And the source that I bought these from had a lot of really good stuff. There's no reason that they're going to be buying, inauthentic stuff. But in this particular case, I think it is a good idea. It builds buyer confidence. And eBay, I think if they did that for every item, not every item, but every item that's over a certain dollar amount, I think that would be a really good look. I mean, that would be very, very difficult, if not impossible to implement. But for the categories that they do have it set up for, I think it's well intended. It works well, and I have no issues with it. I really don't. Duncan VR says, hit the like button for the sale. Not working today. Well, you remember, you got 24 hours, so it may kick in over the weekend. Karen Abir says, hope you feel better soon, Jenna. Found out why I was feeling burned out. Blood pressure was way high. Now I'm no meds, but feeling better. Yeah, you gotta do something about that. My dad had high blood pressure, and it really caused him a lot of problems. So take care of yourself on that, Karen. JRKR 1964, 5 days in a row of decent sales. Yesterday and today have been very slow. I can share with you. It's not been the greatest of days today, and I don't know if it's going to allow me for some reason. But today, wasn't planning on sharing my data, but today I only have $100 in sales. I really didn't even notice that. I had a $527 day yesterday, and $94.90 is the total that I've received today. So that is certainly not good. I believe I've sold more than one item, so I don't know what's going on there. It may be one of those things where I'm awaiting payment on one of these. No, I'm not. Hard to say. So hopefully you're selling a little bit better than I am. That is for sure. Jerry's with us. Earlier comment, we had 8 inches of snow overnight. Sun shining now and melting. We definitely need the moisture to help with all the fires we've had in Nebraska. Yeah, I heard about the fires in Texas. I didn't realize it was extended all the way up to Nebraska. So hopefully you guys are safe. Darth says, I had one sale late last night for $16. I'm retiring now. It kind of makes me think about the conversation, when you say I'm retiring now. What are your plans? I think most of us are in that range, the age range where we have the retirement age on our mind. And I think some of us are already there. I'm not, but some of you guys are already there. And for those of you who are there, how are you making retirement work for you? Are you using reselling to kind of supplement what you have coming in for retirement? If you're not at retirement age, what is your plan to get to retirement and stay retired? Because I think most of us really don't want to be burdened with having to get up every morning and shipping and listing. And I enjoy what I do, don't get me wrong, but that's now. I'm physically able to do it. By the time I'm 67, when I collect retirement, am I going to want to do this? Am I going to feel like, I want to get up, deal with these heavy items, deal with customers, deal with this and that? Or am I going to want to spend the last years of my life just doing whatever I want to do and knowing that my bills are going to be paid? And I say 67 because you guys know I worked with the railroad for 25 years. So I'm already fully vested in that, in railroad retirement. I get that instead of Social Security. And it's pretty decent, but not great. It's not going to replace the income that I'm used to. So what do you do to supplement that? Is there any investments? And I don't want this to be an investment channel, but, or is there any, and I was even thinking on a larger scale, like I've got a good 17 years to try to find a way to turn this into a real business to where I can hand it over or, you know, run it remotely and have someone like a manager handle it on my behalf. So a lot of thoughts going through my mind. The fact that you mentioned retiring, even though that's not what you meant, kind of brought that to my mind. But I want to know what you guys think on that subject. Suk says, anyone here have slower sales on Fridays? Sometimes I do. I don't know why that is. And you know what? Maybe it's time for me to get back to my routine. Last year, I was doing the end item sell similar. Some of you guys know it as the delist, relist, but it's all the same. I was doing that on a weekly basis. I do it Thursday night to get that 24-hour boost, getting the weekend started on a good foot, and it worked really well. And that's because I had a larger store. I was paying an extra $40 for the larger store, and it gave me opportunity to really, you know, do that. And I think I had like 300 and some odd items. So it allowed me to go over the 1,000 item limit. I think that store had 10,000 items. It gave me a lot of room to do it as often as I wanted to. And that worked for me. I've scaled back to a smaller store, doing it once every 29 days for items that are about to recycle. And there's a lot of people, and I just kind of want to clear the air on this. eBay has not changed the way they handle end item sell similar, meaning that you end an item, you do a sell similar, you're going to get that gray tag. And this is on the PC. I don't believe I've seen this on the app. I don't think you see it on the app. But on the PC, you see that gray tag next to the title that says new listing. eBay considers that a new listing, not a stale listing. And I believe the window is 12 to 24 hours. Don't know the exact time frame where you get that new listing boost. And it's worth doing so that your items aren't stale, because if you allow eBay to allow it to, after 30 days to just roll it over, you know, they take your listing out of your bank to utilize or to refresh that listing, or to recycle that listing. I don't even know the proper terminology for it, but it's still considered a stale listing. eBay knows that's been listed, you know, over 30 days at that point. And the longer you allow that just to keep recycling itself, it's an old listing. And eBay eventually buries that listing and doesn't give it the kind of love that a end item sell similar process would give it, albeit very temporary, you know, 12 to 24 hours. It is still a thing. It is not a myth. And, you know, certainly I could prove it. You can prove it on your own. Just do it and then go find your item. You will see it'll have that tag that it will be a new listing. Maya says, I always get good sales on Fridays, especially on Poshmark, since I do closet clear out. And these are good things to do. You always want to try to move your long tail items if you can. If you can afford to give it a deeper discount, to move it, maybe not buy it again, invest in a different item that's going to sell faster if you can. Darth Thrifter says, every day is a slow sales day for me since I turned off all my promotions. Yeah, that eBay will penalize you. I've noticed even if I've allowed my markdown sale to expire without a new one taking its place, I've noticed sales have fallen off way, you know, in a big way. And I make it a point. I have my markdown sales scheduled 6 months out in 2-week increments, and they're overlapping each other. So one would end at midnight, the other one would start at 12:30 in the morning the next day. And that seems to work really well for me. Suk says 5,000 items. You checking sell through, and the larger the store you have, the harder it is to maintain. You know, you got to keep that in mind. You can set it and forget it, but you're not going to have the most optimal store, the most optimal listings, if you're not constantly in your listings trying to improve them. And I can tell you, as we speak, I probably have quite a few listings that need to be optimized somewhere within the listing. And it's good to go back in and constantly review your listings to fix those problems. Noah Design, what category do you sell in, Darth? Curious. Reef the Sea Forever says, who here was on the spring eBay call yesterday? I was on there right after I got 2 sales and 1 offer, which I accepted today. Like I said, I wasn't on the call, but I did get my buddy, insider friend, the person that gave me the tickets to the game back in December, kind of fell off the map. And they reached back out and said, hey, just more information for you that eBay is going to be making a lot more or a lot of changes within the app between now and October. And it's quite possible that maybe we'll see some consistency with offsite ads if you're utilizing that come that period of time, like right before Q4, which would make sense that eBay is trying to fix their problems to get things right before Q4. So let's see where that goes. This person has been very, very accurate with a lot of things that they've told me. So I have no reason to not believe what they're saying. So just take that with a grain of salt. Reef says, I wonder if I got rewarded or not. And then Jerry Johnson's get to feel better, Jenna. Good. Well wishes. Thank you for all that. Mike Gerda says, I got more excited about my 1 Mercari sale than my 10 on eBay today. A sale on these other platforms is an added bonus. And that's how you have to look at it. And I think that's why when sales get tougher on the main platform that you're on, I mean, you can sit back and wait for the sales to get better, but it's a good idea to be proactive and push your items over to Bonanza. There's no cross listing necessary. It takes 10 minutes to set it up. But I was talking to Beard, he had a sale, like $200 sale on Bonanza that he may or may not have had if he wouldn't have cross posted. And, even if it's an extra 10 to 20% of sales as a result of cross posting to other platforms, well, that maybe will fix a 10 to 20% decline on eBay. It'll replace those lost sales. And I think that's, where a lot of people need to look at it. And I know that's cross listing program Flip used to be free. It's now going to be like $10 a month to use those services, from what I understand. So there's no longer a free tool. I mean, currently TreeCat's free for the next week or two until they get the payment processor in place. But even then, a tool like TreeCat, you're not paying until you make a sale, and you pay every time you make a sale. And then, of course, they're doing the work on the back end to make sure it's not sold somewhere else. So, and they're providing a lot of those other tools you're going to be able to use in the process. So I'm a big fan. They've been very good to us, working with us, allowing us to be a part of the dialogue and the discussion to help develop this tool. And I'm very excited about it. Samantha says, John, I'm familiar with you selling seating for the restroom or toilet seats. What are you looking at lately without giving up too much of your items you're interested in? See, that's just it, though, Samantha. I'm looking at something that I can buy low and that I can sell as high as possible. That gets my attention. Yes, I have a familiarity with toilet seats. I mean, initially I was passing up these toilet seats because I really, didn't want to mess with them. It just was gross, right? The idea that a lot of these are customer returns. So you're looking at a visual. Some of these, I only have a visual to see, when they open the box, does it look like it's been used? I hate to say that. It's a hard pass for me if it's not looking like it's in a sealed packaging with inside the box. And so, I take a chance, like, looks like it's sold for someone. The price seems to be okay. And then I get in there and I just make it work. So there's really no one item. I really am not the kind of guy that's going to have bolos. I just don't, because I can tell you, maybe look into roller skates. I bought 30 pairs. I sold 2 just today, 1 on Amazon, 1 on eBay. But again, I was able to find these pairs for like $6 to $7 a piece. We're talking brand new in the box, girls to girl sizes all the way up to smaller women's sizes. And, right now we're getting into spring, weather's getting better. People are saying, hey, let's go roller skating, and seasonal items is where you want to look for as well, if you can. But for me, and I think a lot of other channels like J-Ride Flips or other channels will tell you that it's really about what's selling now, what's selling recently. I was selling heaters only a couple months ago or a month ago. Now I'm backing off of that because it just doesn't make sense. How many people are really going to be hunting for a heater in April and May? So you got to keep these things in mind. There's a lot of intangibles that you want to consider when you're buying the item. But the first one has to be profitability. Can I get it for low? And can I try to make 10x? That's the goal, 10x plus on the money. Now, is it okay to strive for 5x? Sure, but the lower you go with that number, the less room you have to take offers, to make offers, to use coupons, to use markdown sales. All of these things are features that eBay offers, and I am a firm believer that if eBay is offering these things, they really want you to use them, and you should be looking at ways to allow you to use them to where you're not stuck. I buy it for 10, the market says 30, after fees. I don't have a lot of room to work with to offer a lot of those things, and I feel like there's a lot of sellers out there that feel stuck where they can't offer the same kind of discounts that maybe someone like me or others or their direct competition might, and they're really feeling kind of behind the 8 ball. And that's the thing. People say, hey, I do everything right and I'm not making sales, but did you do the first part right? And that's buying a good item at a good price. Victor Wawiorka says, hello, John and Flippin' Fam. Finally grinding out some sales. There you go. And I think it is a grind. I think you got to be more selective than ever. And I think sell-through rate needs to be more focused on than ever. How much demand does this thing have? And if it doesn't have a lot of demand, you better be getting a lot of profit out of that. We're talking much more than 10x to sit on that item for months. Suk says, unless you getting good sell-through items, you just become a storage facility, right? Or what I like to call a museum. None of us wants to operate a museum. I think we signed up for this. Being a curator is not one of those things we were even thinking about doing, but here we are. We have stuff that would probably qualify for many museums, and we're not even charging admission. So it's time to get those things moved. Apologize, guys. Not only do I talk a lot, probably a lot of you guys think I talk too much, but it makes it tougher when you're reading comments too. Ashley Sims says, Lala, depending on what category you list, most of there are long tail items. That's what I'm into. I do ephemera. Doesn't take a lot of space to store, but it may take a while to sell. That's another consideration. How much room do you have? I mean, it's a good idea to build an adequate size store, the one that you can scale up at as close of a rate that you're currently at. That's kind of what's in my mind. Can I scale it up to 400 from 200 and have the same ratio of sales per item, or something similar to at least 1-to-1 for every 90 days? And I'm well beyond that right now. But if I go to 400, well, how far will I drop off, considering that I'm going to be listing the same kind of item? I'm not going to cheat to get there by listing low sell-through rate items. So, that's a lot of factors you have to take into consideration. But the small item like ephemera, I mean, you can sit that in a cabinet and just, when it sells, it sells. The smaller the item, the more long tail I think it can be. It's not going to, take space away from you running your business. Lisa Jacob says, recommended resellers to follow on YouTube, IG, or Facebook. Wish to learn and get more serious about selling. Thanks to you, John and Jenna, for the space you created. Love it. Well, thank you. I got to tell you, there's a number of good folks out there who are really good to watch with reselling. I'll go ahead and give you my co-host. I'll start there. Bearded Picker, check out his channel for reselling in general. And I say that because he's not only on eBay, he's also doing retail arbitrage on Amazon. So that'll give you some ideas there. Someone like J-Ride Flips, he really has a lot of pertinent information when it comes to sell-through rate. He's one of those everything sellers like myself that really do well. We're not building huge stores. I know he's backing down the number of items in his stores. But if you have good quality items, there's really not a need for a huge store. Now, I guess it's really based on perspective on where you want to be. If you're building a huge business, then, keep building that store. But for someone like me who's happy with 10 to 14-ish on my really, really good months, 1,000 in sales, that's enough for me. And I'm not saying I'm satisfied, but I'm not going to kill myself either to press the envelope. There's just so much going on in my life right now. Ping says, John, Samantha wanted to know how we highlight someone's name in the chat. I think if you do an @ and then their name and then type in something, it'll highlight their name in the chat that way. Samantha says, I'm truly a craft card making and my supplies are endless, but Etsy isn't doing me well either. Maybe Mercari will appreciate my items or YouTube. I'd say get them on all the platforms. But I'm surprised, though. I haven't heard a lot about Etsy being really slow for people. Ever since the Super Bowl, they had that Super Bowl ad. I thought that really helped them. Josh, nice to see you. Says someone else recommended Memory Keeper's Daughter. I'm going to order it and read it. Thank you, Meg. I guess that's a book. Curious what that's about. No One Design says, Darth, you might want to look into niching down despite popular belief on everything. Sellers being overtaken by clothing categories. Kind of weird, but it is what it is. So clothing is saturated because it's so easy to get. You go to the bins. What's the most prevalent item that you come across? Clothing, the Goodwill bins. You go to any thrift store, clothing. Go to yard sales, clothing. So it's so easy to get. And I think that's why people gravitate towards that. Darth says, I got $8 offer on a $37 item. Almost tempted to take it. You got to really think of it like that shirt. I had a $2 buy cost on it. I literally bought it for $2 from a friend. He's like, look, it was on his table. He was offering anyone else that came up, sitting there all morning at his yard sale. Finally, we got a little lull in the yard sale, and I went to go look through his shirts, and I'm like, yeah, $2. Okay, I'll buy it. Bought like 5 or 6 items off that table for $2. And I'm not a clothing seller, but I know pretty decent things when I see it, like that Yamaha VR, that what is it, Vincent Rossi? Heck, I don't follow MotoGP, but that one it's still up for sale. We have a pretty decent price on it. Duncan VR, don't mention eBay. They may cut your internet again. No, it's certainly not eBay. They're not that sophisticated. If they can't get their website going smoothly, I'm not worried about them messing up my internet connection. Paula says, thank you. I will take your advice. Thanks. Lots of good advice in the chat. So thank you for being here. And, if any of you guys out there have any problems, we can't always have the answer, but you never know if you don't ask. So if you have a question, post it in the chat, and either myself or someone else will be glad to help you. Biff Boffo says, I noticed last night there was a tab for store traffic. Has that been around a while? It says new, but not sure how new. So I have not noticed that. I'm seeing under performance, I'm assuming, but I don't see anything for store traffic. Now, I'm not sure where you're seeing this. That's interesting, but they're making changes. See what else we got here. We have Tim Carlson. Thanks for being here, Tim. I canceled a USPS label last December. The label number was suddenly used last week and was charged again. USPS says it was mail fraud. eBay service is refunding the charge. That's really strange. How was it used? If you canceled that thing, did they regenerate the label with the same number and barcode? That's for someone else. That's really strange. But you know what? Glitches happen. It's not just common to eBay. I'm sure USPS has their share of it. But as long as they are taking care of it and not charging you for it, that's all that matters. Aardvark Treasures says, I had about 6 sales today. Thank the buyers and pack them up. Right before I left to the post office, a buyer said his address is wrong. Oh, well, I canceled it and went on my way. I hate that. Yeah. There's some that would not even have done that. They would have just shipped it and just allowed the buyer to just deal with it. So if you're able to do it without causing yourself too much of a hardship, do cancel it. But if you've already dropped it off, don't go back there on your own time trying to fish it out of the bins or ask someone, to go and look for it behind the counter. Once you drop that thing off, it's no longer your problem. Sook says, don't feel bad, Darth. I ate 12 little Debbie snickerdoodle cream pies last night and an entire bag of kettle-style potato chips with 3 tall glasses of Coke Zero. Yeah, that Coke Zero will take the edge off of all that stuff that you ate. I hope you didn't do all that to yourself. Mike says, the Mercari gods heard me, got my second sale today. There you go. I don't know if that was a result of you hitting the like button, but hit the like button, guys. I don't know how many. We have 165 people watching. We're probably down from our normal 200-ish audience because of the outage and the fact that Jenna's not here to keep me on my toes. But doing the very, very best that I can. And it's really tough. I got to tell you, I really miss having her here with me, but I didn't want her to really have to go through it because it gives me a minute to just kind of look at some of the comments ahead of time and allow her to say a few things. And it just allows the live stream to go a little smoother. Let's see. Sidekick Comics says, I sell comics and action figures. eBay sales have been consistently good. See? So there you go. There's a good story. I'm certain that if you're saying that, because those aren't the need items that a lot of us, or at least myself, have been really trying to focus on. But you are showing that there's an example that there are sales out there, even on those collectible type of items. So whatever you're doing it right. So keep it going. Noah Design, as I think I mentioned this, says, side note, Flip is not free anymore. Now my crackheads get one less snack breaks because of that. Darth Thrifter says, hopefully turning on auto offers doesn't cause issues like international shipping. I don't think it is. Now I say that knowing that eBay's full of glitches, but you just got to try it. Maybe wait a couple weeks to see if there's any issues. Allow us, like someone like myself, to be the guinea pig and then implement it. I wish I would have done that with international sales when they implemented that, because it caused my sales to crash for a solid week last year. Sook says, men's clothing is my niche, and now I've been screwing up not looking for men's suits. Good money in them. Save my butt. I look for suits first now. There you go. Hamad says, is this a good idea to buy from auctions and sell on eBay? Certainly. Anything that you can buy low and sell high is always a good way to do that. Amazon Seller says, yes, we pay for the service. It's included with the Channel Advisor, third-party inventory management software. That's interesting. Good to know. Dark Horse Production says, Mercari buyers are cheapskates, like Facebook Marketplace. It is, to me, it's always been the yard sale of online reselling, selling on Mercari. But I don't mind. I have a second store that you guys know of where we push that stuff to Mercari. We also have clothing and shoes that we push over from that store to Poshmark. And I don't mind if I have stuff that I can't move at full price on eBay. Even if I can get 2 to 3x my money on Mercari, then I'm happy to do it. Just make a mental note not to buy that item again. Henri Squaw says, howdy, so late. I'm all discombobulated today, but got my like in. There you go. So nice seeing you. Thanks for being here. Dark Horse does not expect too much from the platform. I don't really either. We might get a sale here and a sale there, a couple sales a week. But, again, if we're adding 10 to 20% to our eBay bottom line, then it's making up for any bad days or bad months. There's been many times that I've had a bad day on eBay that I look over at Amazon, look over at, I got a Bonanza sale, look over at Mercari, look over at Poshmark, and it's like, okay, now I'm not all the way up where I want to be, but at least it softens the blow of a bad day on eBay. Beard is hoping everyone is having a moist day today. And no rain here in the forecast. It's very windy, but hopefully you're doing better than that. Maya says, I found a men's clothing, Elro Fisher. Been watching his video lately to learn about men's clothing. He had a good video about dress shirts. There you go. I mean, you guys know about Tech and Sports. He is, I don't know if he is anymore, but he touts that he is one of the largest or the biggest men's clothing resellers on eBay. And I'm sure he has a lot of good, I know he has a lot of good information, but that's one place to look as well. Maya says, I used to watch Thrift a Life to learn about men's clothing, but he mostly has vlog videos now. Yeah, a lot of channels, they start one way and they end up changing to be something else. Tease Flip says, got my sale. Hit the like button, folks. There you go. Sales are out there, guys. I mean, I could use, it seems like every time I have these lives, I'm either having a really great day before the live begins, or I myself need to hit the like button. Samantha says, recently eBay suggested I need a profile picture for more sales. What is your opinion about picture profiles on my eBay account? I'm not a fan of it. It is not necessary. I know what you're saying. When you go, when you have your storefront, so eBay gives you the opportunity to customize your storefront. And it might say you could put a video on your storefront. You can put a custom image of your company logo. Like I have one for Value Trends. Some people put their face, their pet, their whatever. It does nothing at all. It has no impact on your placement in search for your item. Ashley Sims says, it happened to me too. No active listings and other issues started at about 2 a.m. because eBay was down. eBay was down this morning. Andrew Martin says, my luck is about to take a dive because I've been finding gems for weeks almost every time I left the house. Sports Specialties, Black Dome, plain logo, Oakland A's took an offer of 400 within 5 minutes. There you go. That's exactly what I like to hear. Sook sold some Patagonia Nano Puffs for 145 just after hitting the like button. There you go. We need to start charging like a little commission, like a 1% commission. I'm just joking. No, I enjoy the fact that we have this community, and we jokingly say hit the like button, but it's very strange that, you put it out there, you put positive vibes out there by saying, hey, you're going to get a sale, and it just works for people. So hit that like button, guys. Josh Galt says, VP of eBay US Adam Ireland was sacked. He's being moved to another role, replaced by Don Block. Don Block is a serial exec and has held up roles in a number of companies, including Target. So great, another brick and mortar retail executive joining eBay, huh? They announced the turnover at the seller check-in yesterday, and that is a big shakeup. So does that mean, though, I mean, they can shake up as many personnel as they want, even executives, but unless that shakeup is going to cause a change of course. So, eBay being the AI-focused, magical innovation-focused future, and let that be more important than the seller experience and ultimately the buyer experience. And their thought is, well, all that will take care of that. That's the mindset they're currently on. If they are they going to navigate away from that mindset rather than what we all think should happen, and that is to focus on the experience first? I don't know. We'll see. Darth says, Josh, I saw your store is selling a 10. I think he's always had good stuff. He's had a lot of stuff. It's just a lot of inconsistency. He's had great days followed by a couple days that were just like non-existent. So hopefully, Josh, you're doing better. Samantha says, what did I miss? My cat got stuck in the closet and couldn't get out. Jeez. Probably not a lot, to be honest with you. Junk Drunk says, what is the point of watchers on eBay? Well, it's a way, it's what eBay has set up to try to allow interaction between the seller and the buyer. So if eBay knows that that buyer is in a listing for a certain amount of time or a number of clicks into the listing, they will then feel like the buyer is interested. Could be a seller that's just doing research on their item, similar item they're trying to sell, but eBay doesn't know that. So they're going to mark that as a watcher. So that is your cue as a seller to say, okay, that person could be interested, and eBay gives you the ability to send them an offer. So it further gets them involved in the idea of buying your item, albeit at a lower price point. And that's kind of the whole purpose behind it. But because a lot of times we don't even get to the offer until hours after it's been sitting in our to-do list, that we've already missed the opportunity to make the sale. Let's see. Cookie Mong or Mang. I had to block my first lowballer. I sell mostly baseball cards and Pokemon cards. You're going to get that. And you know what? If you get someone asking you 1,000 questions or trying to nickel and dime you, chances are you're going to end up with difficulties later on in the transaction. Even if you take the lowball offer, it's just not worth it. It's more, it's better to block them, move on, knowing there's millions more buyers out there, and just, it's tempting to get the sale. Maybe you haven't had a lot of sales to succumb to these lowball offers. And I know that's why they're lowballers in the first place, because lowballers are successful. They come across people who are desperate to make the sale, and they, in their desperation, they're confirming to these people that lowballing is the way. If every seller told lowballers no and didn't settle for the lowball offer, these behaviors would change, because these tactics wouldn't work. And it makes you wonder. You see an item. Wow, how did that item sell for $2? Well, and sold comps. Well, because a lowball offer. Ant White says, is there a way to print out a list of all my items? Just a basic list of titles. I need to do an inventory check. I had to cancel an order because I sold it on one site and forgot to delete it off of eBay. There's no real easy way to do it. You could certainly go in, and I think eBay displays 200 listings per page maximum. You can go in there and highlight, copy, paste it into an Excel spreadsheet with the formatting, but that's just a pain in the butt. What I do whenever I do inventory check like that is I'll go in and sort it by SKU. So I know, like, okay, shelf 1. Okay, here are all the listings for shelf 1. So I'll tell Jenna the item. Okay, we have it. We have that. What about this one? Okay, shelf 1's good. Let's check shelf 2. It's all sorted for you in alphanumeric order. Let's see. JRKR is going to do this. Hubby will retire, and we will do together or work together. Probably do eBay together. That's a good idea, but not everyone's cut out for eBay. So it may sound good on paper, hey, we're going to do this together, but just know I have a lot of plans for the business we have. For instance, right? Jenna's not retired. She works the business, but she doesn't like doing certain things within the business. She absolutely despises listing. I can't, no matter what type of carrot I throw her way to, hey, okay, I'll let you take X amount of the profits from the secondary store just for spending money. And it's not appealing enough to her to even do that to list. So, your husband might not want to even be bothered with reselling. Jerry says, yes, using eBay to help with retirement and doing part-time temporary jobs also. Okay. And Mary O says, I'm doomed to work for the rest of my life. No retirement for me. And that is the saddest thing. Watching people at our old job, watching the number of people that work their tail off, and it's like weeks before they're able to retire, they pass away, and you have absolutely nothing to show for it. We've got a buddy right now. He makes a ton of money. One of my good friends in the trucking industry. He runs a trucking company, and he doesn't have retirement. It's like, well, what are you going to do? He's maybe 10 years away from retiring, and it's like, I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life. At some point, we're not going to be as functional as we once were. And I think for most of us, most of us are on the downward decline. So is this going to be something that you're going to want to do? Are you going to be able to get up for? And are you going to be able to have the ability to do it not only consistently, but in a way where you're going to be able to make it work at the same level? And that's my concern. Now, Sidekick Comic says 70 years old. I resell and support my golf and beer consumption. But that, see, I can tell you, so you're probably supplementing your retirement income. See, you're picking an item that's not difficult to deal with. Comic books and baseball cards, right? They're small, they're light, they're not going to hurt your back when you bend over to pick them up. That's my concern. I got a lot of big stuff. You found something that you probably enjoy, and I think there's some things to it. I don't enjoy selling toilet seats. I know nothing about comic books. So you have a really good thing going on right now if you're able to make that work and you're happy doing it. But even then, you're 70 now. At 80, are you going to feel the same way about it? You might just be like, look, I really don't want to bother with shipping. I really don't want to bother with listing. Something to consider. No Design. Yes, actually I did. I sold that tire. It's a funny story because as soon as I put that video out on I made money off of a scammer, I got a return request. They said they bought the wrong size tire. So of course, they had to pay for the return label. They of course did not get their money back on that original shipping. And I got the tire back. We relisted it, sold it for like $20 more than the offer that I gave the first buyer. And that went out, I think, at the beginning of the week, if I'm not mistaken. So that one is sold. So we did make money off of a scammer. Sook says, am I the only one that feels they need at least a part-time job to feel more like a member of society? You're talking about retired folks. I can tell you this. If I had an adequate retirement, the day I could retire, I'm out making trips, visiting family, playing golf, renting an RV, doing road trips, going to casinos, all the things that you think about doing when you're really working that 9-to-5 job. For 25 years, on my mind was watching people retiring and going, wow, it'd be nice to do that one day. Here are their plans to go do all these things. And, I just don't know that what I have or what we have, because she's going to have some retirement coming too. That's down the road, but it's still, time flies faster as you get older. I think a lot of you can attest to that. And, you don't want to be in a spot where you're a year away going, wow, I didn't really do anything to make this work, and that's the scary thing. I don't want to be that person. We got Sook says, thanks for keeping it real. You guys rock. Well, no, thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Let's see what else I can get here. And we're about a half an hour away. I was going to make this a shorter live stream today, and the internet was trying to make that happen. But you know what? I'm able to speak, and we're just going to keep going. Ant says, is there a way to print out a list? I already read that one. I apologize. And thank you, by the way, Sook, for the super chat. We don't really ask folks to do that. It's nice. It's a nice gesture that you guys do that, but it's certainly not something that we, try to, we're not trying to panhandle for or pander for. It's just, it's a nice gesture. I appreciate that for sure. I think I need to get to Ashley here. It says, I won't be retired anytime soon. But once I got in my mid 40s, I started adding an extra percent taken out to 401k. I buy stocks at work. I think that's a really smart thing to put money away in some kind of investment. Now, I'm not a CPA. I'm not a financial advisor, but really, you just don't want to put yourself in a position where you have to resell on eBay, when you're just not able to do it anymore. I think that's my biggest fear as far as my financial future. Larry says, hi, Jenna and Ping. We have Brenda Smith says, I retired 2 years ago in August from teaching, sell part-time on eBay, and do substitute teaching to fill my time. And that's yet another thing. I'm sure you're doing that to fill your time. If you don't have something to look forward to, I think that is maybe even worse than worrying about, do I, am I going to struggle when I'm 80? Am I going to do eBay when I can't really do it? If I'm not going to be able to do it? I think that the second thing I've always thought about is if you don't have something to look forward to keep you busy, that is also something that you certainly want to avoid. Find a hobby, get into something now while you're young that you will carry over, like golf, for instance. We have Gail. Thanks for the super chat. I certainly appreciate that. Yeah. Any questions you have, but thank you. I appreciate that. Really nice of you. Maya likes cats. Just don't think I can handle the responsibility. So I volunteer at an animal shelter with cats. It's actually cool that you get to play with many different cats. And what's cool about that is that these cats aren't jumping on your refrigerator. We had a cat many years ago, and they would jump on the refrigerator, knock stuff over. And as cute as they are, it's like, that's kind of, I'm not with that. We never had a cat again. Let me put it that way. And sometimes they're kind of sketchy. I like dogs. Dogs are kind of chill, and they don't do all that stuff. Even though my other dog likes to act like a cat, and he barks all the time. You guys hear him, and it's annoying. But Stuke says, Brenda, that's awesome. I like reselling, but it can be a very lonely life. I'm ready to find something part-time to do. Ashley, I agree. Old stale listings are like anchors. That's how I explain it to my friends who resell. Enough anchors in your boat will sink further and further down. And I really think, okay, here's a good example. I'm glad you brought that up. We have these little kitchen scales, and jokingly, I tell Jenna, I call them our little meth scales that we have for sale. I know it's a bad thing, but I share everything with you guys. There's a lot of things I say off camera that, I don't always share with you guys, but I always make light of a lot of things going on around me. And so this little bathroom scale, we received like 30 of them in a pallet like 2 years ago. We've had these things forever. And the comps are like 16, 17 bucks free shipping. So we had them for the longest time on Jenna's second store, and things weren't selling. And we tried everything. We tried a low cost plus shipping, didn't work. We tried free shipping, didn't work. So one day when we merged all of our items together on the main store back in January, put them on the main store, and I sold them. I put them out for $17.99, $18.99, I think, after my coupons and markdown sales. Brought it down to like $16, $17. And I started selling them. And so when we pushed back all the crap that we put on there back to the secondary store, we left those scales on the main store. And wouldn't you know, I think I have about 6 or 7 left. Now, why those scales did not sell on the secondary store doing the same things, same photos, same item description, very similar price, and I think in some cases lower prices on that other store, because at one point we had a 20 to 30% markdown sale. Yet I put them on my store with the higher sell-through rate, and those items are almost sold out. And we're talking over a couple months. Just shipped out one today. Why is that? How is that? I don't understand. How can that be? It tells me one thing. It tells me that the sell-through rate of your store collectively has a huge impact on your individual items within the algorithm. I am a firm believer of that. And everyone can sit here and tell me that I'm, coming up with stuff, but I'm a firm believer in looking at patterns and seeing how things work. There's no way to explain what I just told you. There's no way to explain how the same item with the same photos, the same price, the same listing, essentially, sometimes at a lower rate, will not sell, and they will sell on my main account. Go figure on that. Karen says, do you recommend a full reset on items before running a sale to start fresh? I think that's a good idea. Do your markdown sale. But again, I like to run my markdown sales 6 months out. So I'm having it start up and end every 2 weeks, from Monday morning at 12:30 in the morning, ending at Sunday night at 11:30 at night. I think it's 11:30 at night on Sunday, 2 weeks later. And I just scheduled them out. So you just do a copy and then change the dates, launch, copy, change the dates, launch. and you're doing that until you have 6 months worth of markdown sales. Doreen says, I'm new to thrifting, thinking of putting my vintage items on eBay, concerned about how they pay the seller and if the buyer pays shipping, not sure how it all works. Certainly you want to put it on eBay. I would start off by charging shipping extra, not doing the free shipping. I think a lot of newer sellers get caught up into the free shipping game sooner than they should, not understanding the true cost of what it costs to ship these items, and they lose money as a result. So calculated shipping, the buyer pays based on their address and the weight and dimensions of the item. Watch various channels. Watch this one. Watch Bearded Picker's channel. Various channels like that will give you tips and information that you can glean from. And not every tip is going to apply to your situation, but you learn so much by watching different channels and just being a sponge. Josh says, no more pets for me. Done. So I'm wondering, what's the status of the cat? Not sure if you told everyone, but Josh was dealing with a cat that he had in his little unit when he was I believe he moved all that stuff out of there when he went back to work, and he also moved the cat out of there. So I'm wondering, and that cat was 21 years old. So by him saying that tells me the cat has wings right now. Ashley, Karen, I usually do a markdown manager sale at once that ends. I end the listings and I put it back up. If it's been up for over a month, I immediately put it back on markdown sale again. And yeah, so it's constantly trying to get your long tail items as big of a boost as you can. And if that means you're just going to keep lowering the price, the goal is to get rid of it. I mean, really it is. And to make as much money as you can. I know that's obvious. The goal is to get rid of it. That's what reselling is. But so many people have items that have been sitting for years in their store, and there's really no reason for it. Basket Noodle says, greetings. Thanks for being here. Suk says, I try to keep 500 active with more than 500 sold consistently. I think that is kind of where you want to be. 500 sold within 90 days, a 500 item store. I've had my store up that high. But it's all I got to do is sell 5 or 6 items in a day, and I've hit my $500 goal. And I'm not always doing that, but there's days I have $700, $800 days to offset the $100 and $200 days, like the one I'm dealing with right now. Let's see here. Basket Noodle says, I have 4 cats. Doing okay, Josh. Thanks for asking. Excellent. Things going well for you. And then we have Christy says, retired teacher using eBay to downsize. So just just fun money. I think a lot of people are doing it for fun money. And I think that is the coolest place to be, where you're in a spot where whether you have a good day or a bad day, it doesn't affect your ability to pay your bills. Yeah, you may not be able to go to Disneyland next month, but you don't have the pressures that a lot of the full-time resellers have, and the stresses that go along with it. If you want to take a day off and do absolutely nothing, get away from the business, then you can. And there's just really no pressure to be involved with eBay every day like I have, for instance. Ashley says, I found the Mac Daddy of bidets in the thrift store a couple weeks ago. Was $10, but had sold comps for over 200. I just couldn't do it, thinking it may have been used or was missing a part. Yeah, that is, you really got to. I don't really handle bidets at all unless I can tell that they are new in the box. Samantha says, I'm not going to tell my age, but I'm sitting on a few vintage items that can go for good money. But when I look at comps, some sellers screw you with lower asking price when it can sell for more. That is correct. We have Passionately Collected says, I was wondering about automatic offers. Good topic. Thanks. Yeah, go check it out if you get a chance. It's under marketing. And once you get into marketing, you go to your buyer groups tab, and down where it says send automated offers, you just go through and set it all up depending on how you want to do it. But I think it has its benefits. It's more beneficial to use it than to not, I believe. Duncan got 3 bids for $15 by hitting the like button. There you go. And we got John. How you doing, John? Rad Relic says, I've had no problem setting on items for months. But the higher the profit margin that you have, the easier it is, at least in my mind, to sit on that item. Like I have $1. I still have that stupid that tractor part. It's an axle knee. Bought it for $1.15. It goes for $200. So, it could take up a spot on my shelf. Samantha, so I'm sitting on an item not getting paid. So frustrating. Christmas crafts, jewelries, clothes, sports, Barbie dolls, and much more. Have a tag hour that is, what's that about? That's a very good item. That's a very nice watch, actually. It's a good brand. Rad Relic says, I went and worked on the booth and put more t-shirts in. I'm trying to make sure my booth stays above $6,000 a month. I have my eyes on a car I want to buy, but want to make sure my booth can pay for it. There you go. And now that you've mentioned that, I was going to talk about this, and maybe because I'm talking about everything else, I'll mention it. I decided that I was going to get into retail arbitrage. And what I'm doing is I'm taking a fixed amount. In this case, I'm taking $1,000, moving it to a dedicated checking account. And everything that I sell on Amazon is going into that account. And every item I buy for Amazon is going out of that account. So no bills or expenses. And the idea is to see over this year how much money I can churn from that. Now, I don't have really much at all on Amazon. I need to get out there and get some stuff, but it's part of part of this is making it into a little game, right? How can I make this goal into a game? Because I really don't have a goal. I don't know. Am I going to have $5,000 by the time, the year ends? I don't know. Depends on how much items I can get. I know Bearded Picker went out the last few days. He went to Mississippi, hit a ton of stores, and he's got like 200 to 300 items. And, I want to do that on a smaller scale. If I'm able to make $500 on eBay, okay, fine. Can I make $100 a day on Amazon? And $100 a day on Amazon in sales translates into like 36,500 for the year. And of course, that's sales. That's not profit. But, even on a 30% margin, that's not bad. Andy says, question for TreeCat. If I take all my eBay listings and cross list with you, will I still get charged 50 cents if I end up selling it on eBay? Yes, because the cross-listing tool is going to pull it from the other sites. So that's happening there. But you're also going to have access to the end item sell similar, which is the end relist is what they call it. The end item or delist relist feature that you can schedule. So you could say, look, I'm listing this item, but every 7 days I want to end item sell similar, or every 29th day before eBay does its thing, I want to use that listing before eBay does, and to get it that new item boost, because eBay's not doing that for you. So yes, but you're going to get all these different features and inventory management and reports and stuff that's part of the whole package. So you're paying as you go instead of, oh, I sold 10 items this month, but I'm on the hook for a $50 bill, and then you start thinking, well, because I'm paying a fixed rate to this company, is it worth even cross-listing because I'm not making sales? Well, if you're not making sales, you're not going to be paying a whole lot for that service with TreeCat. So it's a win-win. I like the it's the only one that does this where you don't pay a fee for the service. You're paying as you make sales. You succeed, they succeed. And it's really well done. Jennifer says, had planned to retire at the end of this month, but going to have to go another year. I think it'll always do eBay till I die, but just not full time. And sometimes, Josh Galt, hopefully he's doing what he's set out to do when he made that change. But sometimes you have to make the tough decision. But just know that reselling is going to be here. So when you're ready to come back, you know what? You're not out of the game. You're going to continue doing it part-time. And when you're ready to do it full-time, it'll be here for you. So you didn't lose. Nothing to be ashamed of, nothing to feel bad about. You haven't lost anything. You're making the right decision for your situation. Maya says, Red Relics, Jay Wright isn't the first YouTuber to advocate for high sell-through. Thrift of Life was talking about this years ago. Basket Noodle says, gross money is not net. 98% of those ops are called cash flow biz. In cash flow biz, the mark is 5 years. That is correct. I'm trying to catch up because we're getting close to the end. About another 15 minutes or so. But as you guys know, I am way behind. And this is the part of the show that Beard accuses me of skipping. But I need to be more selective. This is sort of like me right now going to a yard sale. Instead of going through every comment, I'm going to be very selective as to what comments I read. So I apologize. I'm looking for questions if I can find them. Basket Noodle says, if a cash flow sales biz is inventory rich and cash poor, that is the measure of failure. It's always good to have cash on hand. I mean, the worst feeling is to have a lot of inventory that's kind of and then you come across a great deal and can't afford to even invest in it because your money is tied up in the stuff that's sitting on your shelf. Suk says, clothing is not an easy game. It takes a lot of work and knowledge to find the right items. The competition is tougher every day. I agree with that. Doreen wants to know about very old vintage glass items. Do they sell? A channel for you, Doreen, is to check out Sunny Las Vegas. He specializes in glass, and they certainly do sell. So check out Sunny Las Vegas's channel on YouTube. He has a lot of good stuff on that topic. He was on our live not too long ago, and we discussed that. Let's see. Dark Horse Productions agree with something that I said. I don't know what that is, but that's awesome to hear. Someone agrees with me. It's not always that way. Big Dre says, I've decided not to relist items the eBay glitch deleted. eBay's loss. Cross-listing sites will have them for sale. That way I don't have to bother with making a listing from scratch. There you go. I know eBay is frustrating. It is when you lose those listings and you realize this thing has been sitting on my shelf for months and it's not listed on eBay. That is frustrating. Suk says, just made an iced coffee with Southern Butter Pecan Creamer. That's awesome. I don't drink coffee, but that sounds good. John says, my wife has her own account that she sells on to pay for her Mustang. Told her if she wants it, she should buy it, but reselling would be a great way to stay home and sell stuff to pay for her passion. But it's like you're weighing it. Do I really want to do something I don't want to do? And yes, I'm going to get a reward for it, but is it worth it? Sort of a topic for a video I want to make coming up is how bad do you want it? Whatever that is, you're using reselling as a tool to get there. How bad do you want whatever you're reselling for? Because some people just don't want it bad enough. Rain says, my hubby just retired February 1st and eBay is our extra spending money. There you go. And that right there, there's just no pressure. Let's see. Oh boy, we got a lot of folks here. We got 601 Roliz 3NP. I always get that wrong. I apologize, but thank you for the super sticker. We got Sidekick Comics. Enjoy your content. Keep doing it. Well, thank you. I enjoy doing it, to be honest with you. Major Win says rock stars are here. And don't know who that is, but thank you for the super chat. I consider you and others that are watching a rock star, whether you have a channel or not. Thank you for being here. And then Major Win has also said, Paul Rose, you make us want to visit England. Again, thank you all for the super chats. It's just amazing. Really, really, it is. I'm just some guy that's sharing my experience of reselling. It's always been the way it's been for me from the day we started. And I don't feel like I'm any different. I try to keep it real. Sometimes I'm too opinionated to a fault. And I'm thankful that you guys see through a lot of some of the mistakes we make on the channel to just sometimes I'm me, and that's not for everyone, but you still decide to be here and hang out on the channel. So thank each and every one of you guys for that. We have You Need Gifts says, thanks for the tips on the first 5 words and 55 characters in a title. You're very, very welcome. Now, the first 5 words is the most important thing. It still has, I believe it has been that way for the longest time. That's why when you do a search on, on eBay, it'll say, here's the closest, here are the items that match your words word for word. So if nothing matches, it'll then show the rest of the search. I see that all the time because I'm constantly doing research on items, and I'll take an Amazon title and I'll paste it over to eBay sold search, and I get that message. So it's looking to try to match your words, but if you have the wrong words at the beginning, it's not gonna have as much success, even when it can't find the title verbatim. We have Ford Pinto. Richard says, hello, everyone. Thanks for being here. And Roman got here. After John's live, Jenna will do her own live. No, she won't. She won't even do one for me. Someone said Jovial was here. I haven't seen. Oh, here it is. Jovial says, get out and do things while you're young and able. When you get older, it gets more and more challenging physically to do things, and mentally, the desire to do things gets less and less. Yeah. It's almost that same desire to get up and do things when you're not feeling well. Like on Sunday, I was sick as a dog and I didn't want to eat. I just wanted to lay in bed, right? And I kind of wonder if that's what getting really old is like. It's like, you know what? I just don't have the drive to do all these things. And then if you're in that stage where you're just that old, I mean, you'd have the same drive you had 10, 20 years ago to do this work. And that's the scary thing, because when you get to that part where you just like, I don't have the energy or the time, actually the energy or the ability to perform the same work, that's what do you do then, especially when you're relying on this income? Let's see. Says, I'm glad you go over the eBay nuances, rules, mistakes, shipping, listings, returns, user agreements. These things have helped a lot to get started. It's concrete advice, not just speculation or bolos. Yeah, like I said, I'm the wrong guy for bolos, because I may come across one thing that sells great for me that I'll never see again. So why would I take the time to tell you about it when there's a chance you might not see it again? Other channels are good at that, but I feel like my wheelhouse is trying to get into the minutia of how things work on eBay. Now, am I an expert? No. Still learning myself. I get a lot of people that give me flack for saying that somehow I'm a self-proclaimed expert on eBay, and I'm nowhere close to that. I say a lot of things that may not be correct, just like there's a lot of folks I watch on YouTube that a lot of you guys watch. And like today I was watching a YouTuber that was given bad information on something, and it's like I'm shaking my head. But I'm sure there's many of you guys that do the same to me when I'm saying something that just doesn't ring true. And it's not because I'm just trying to make content for the sake of making content. I really feel strongly about trying to give good information when I can, and that's why this week I haven't made a video, not only because I'm not feeling well, but sometimes you have the equivalent of writer's block when you're doing these videos. It's like, do I want to talk about something I've talked about before, or do I want to find fresh material? And after 400 plus videos, that fresh material gets harder and harder to come by. A lot of questions in the chat for TreeCat, so that's good. Jerry says, just a suggestion, John. Some live streams have the comment start with question at the beginning of the chat message, so it's easy to find the questions. And Jerry, I think you're right. I'm going to have to implement that suggestion going forward. I think at the beginning of the lives, I'll have to ask folks to do that, because that way I can kind of go through, and there's a star feature on this StreamYard that I can sort of select the questions. And if I see a Q or question at the beginning, it is definitely easier to find. So that's a good point. Dark Horse Productions says, I've gotten a slew of calls to my business line for my IT services work. Whenever I search them up, it's always an unspecified line. So I don't know how helpful that is to anyone. Carol Chuma says, I started selling and got quick success. Now things have slowed down and the rate of sales vary. Do you notice that sales reduce around the first of the month? Not really. There's really no rhyme or reason. For me, the sales, I know I'm going to have a bad sales day when I have a huge sales day the day before. It's happened too many times. Some days, middle of the week, I'll have great sales, and weekends I'll have horrible sales. Where in the past, it was kind of just average sales throughout the week, knowing that Saturday, Sunday was always going to be my bread and butter days. And there's just no way to predict it. It's just unpredictable. And is there something to the idea that eBay throttles sellers? So, they sold $500 yesterday, so we're going to throttle them tomorrow and give someone else those opportunities. Maybe, I don't know. So Bearded Picker says, if you're opinionated, what the hell does that make me? Off the scale opinionated for sure. But you know what? We have our podcast that's launching tomorrow, episode 2. And that one, if you guys thought the first one went well, I really, going back and editing the thing and listening to the conversation, I really, as for someone being a part of the conversation, as a reseller, I enjoyed the conversation. So I think you guys are going to enjoy it. So tune in to the Profit Playbook podcast tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 o'clock Eastern. And that is going to be a really good show. And I'm looking forward to more really good topics down the road. Sonny's with us. Thanks for being here, Sonny. And he is the guy that sells glass. He loves selling glass. That's his passion. And if you have any questions about selling glass, that's where you want to head over to his channel there. You got You Want says, I agree. I found people have complicated the titles with so many specifics. While it's simple, X men's large carpenter's jacket will bring up the Carhartt. Yeah, but even then, Carhartt is probably one of those brands where you do want to put it at the beginning, because that if someone's looking specifically for that brand, because there's a lot of folks who look for it, then you're going to get that. If you throw it at the end of the title, I think you're probably going to get more results if you keep it at the beginning. But if you have, say, guys, remember for lack of a better brand on the top of my head, you guys remember Pro Wings from Payless? Those are all vintage shoes now. No one wears those. But if you threw Pro Wings at the beginning of your title, no one's searching for that. You're not going to get really any benefit from throwing that at the beginning of your title, or in your title at all, for that matter, I think. We got Larry Todd says, Sonny's about as old as my last purchase of underwear. And that is old, guys. Based on everything I know about Todd, that is old. Let's see. Dark Horse says, if there's throttling one crowd in favor of the other, that's absolutely absurd. They should be ashamed of themselves if it's true. Okay, so the idea behind that, not condoning it, but eBay, if eBay had this one successful seller and they're just killing it, they're barely able to keep their inventory in stock. And then you have these other sellers that are selling similar items. They're not selling anything. Well, pretty soon those people are going to drop off. You're just going to have this one seller. It's going to kill the competition. But also, if let's say your store is full of just great stuff, well, eBay knows that you're only able to fulfill those orders in a timely manner if you're not overwhelmed. Given that your situation, you might be a one-man show, one-gal show, you might have multiple people helping you, but eBay is looking at your past performance to determine your account health. And I think that goes into the equation. They don't want to overwhelm you with too many orders because it then can negatively affect the buyer experience, which is what they're concerned about more so than the seller experience. That's just my thoughts. Might be totally off base, but it makes more sense that that's the reason why that's happening. Nick says, sorry I'm late. I had a few questions about TreeCat. Are they charging yet? And are they planning on having a Poshmark sharing tool? My trial of Flip ran out today. So the first answer to your question, no, they're not charging yet. So use the link down below. And when they start charging, you'll be able to take advantage of the 20% off. Instead of 60 cents a sale, it's 50 cents a sale initially. that rate gets lower the more you sell in a given month. But initially, for the first week or two, until that payment process is in place, they're not charging anything, guys. And that second question you have, the Poshmark sharing tool is, I believe, about a month and a half away from being implemented, where it's going to take the place of third-party apps on your phone like Posh or VA, which is what we pay. I think we pay like $25 a month for. That's going to be in place as part of this cross-listing package. Of course, if you're not cross-listing, it's not going to be beneficial to you to sign up for this, because eBay is, or TreeCat is charging you per sale because of that delist feature. But all these features are baked in the price that you're paying per sale. And hit the link down below. We do get a little something for you signing up, and I certainly do appreciate that. Devon's son's driving back from Montana. Awesome. Sonny says, a pleasure being here. We love having you here, Sonny. And I know Sonny and J Ride, they have a podcast as well. Go check it out. I believe it is the, I'm so sorry, Island Flippers. I guess, I know I got the island part right, but put it in the chat if you want everyone to know what your podcast is. Dawson's Digging says, I think some Chiefs helmets would look nice behind you. Only if I can sell them, because they won't stay here very long. I think they'll wither in the presence of all my Raiders stuff. Paul says, have a great weekend, all. May the eBay algorithm gods bless you. Catch you on the flip side and get well soon, Jenna. And Samantha says, got to go, guys. Have a great weekend. Until Monday's live, goodbye. And, oh, look who dropped in. Tommy says, they throttle for customer experience. You get the traffic you have shown to be able to handle. eBay can't make people buy, click buy to show the items. And that's kind of what I was saying. I do agree with that. I believe that is the reason behind it. Tommy's on a little mini vacation, so that's why he hasn't been here. But thanks for being here nonetheless. The fact that you thought enough on the little mini vacation to drop in and say hi, that means a lot. So thanks, Tommy. Nick says, I'm going to sign up tonight. I'll use your link for sure. Thanks for the info. Yeah, sign up and get your stuff cross-listed. Of course, like any tool, there's a learning curve. Make sure you follow the process when you're setting it up so that you don't encounter any issues. But if you do, they have good support to get you through it. So a lot of these larger companies really can't say that. Tommy says, a Chiefs helmet and your signed Taylor Swift poster would be sweet. But the thing is, the signed Taylor Swift poster, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I will. My ex-wife took it when she moved the heck out as a way to kind of get back at me. That's why I don't have it. I've never had it. Never been able to show it to Jenna, because she's like looked at me with the side eye. I don't even think she even believes the story that I met Taylor Swift, but I did, and I'm a firm believer that her career took off shortly thereafter. She took my mojo. Darn it. Simple Beautiful says, hey John, how many can someone list each day? Well, you can list as much as you want. There's no cap. So like I talked about TreeCat. So like some companies say, we're going to charge you $40, but you're capped at 2,000 listings. I don't know the number. Every company is a little different. We'll charge you $60 to give you 4,000 to 5,000 listings. TreeCat doesn't have a cap on how many that you can list each day. And hopefully that's what you're asking about. It's based on how many sales you make, how many times are they utilizing that service to pull the items off the other platforms, and you're getting charged for each one of those. Let's see. SCG Collectibles says, yeah, I'm loving TreeCat. Just need to add some more cross-listing sites. They will. But, it's about getting the core sites right, getting that in place, and then branching out to make the services better. Let's see. Tommy says, Friday's practice for Saturday. That's all. And Saturday's practice for Sunday. Beard says, hey, Cheryl, we'll start at 8:45, so have 80 minutes to drive. So, yes. So you guys that are looking to hop on to Beard's channel, it's about an hour, 45, 2 hours away from him going live tonight. So kind of take a break, hang out, list some stuff. If you're in the mood to listen to some live eBay talk, go check out Bearded Picker's channel. And also while you're at it, don't forget the Profit Playbook podcast tomorrow morning. So that's where we're going to end it, guys. I need to rest my voice. I'm surprised I was able to make it through without a bunch of coughing and stuff happening. So that's a win. But guys, eBay is going to come out with features. Some of these features are not going to work for your business. And some, I believe, like this one here, where you can automate the offer process, is going to be a win for a lot of resellers out there. But figuring out what tool is going to work best for you and which ones to avoid is yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have a great weekend, and we will talk to you guys on Monday's live. And I'm hopeful that Jenna will be there with us. So take care, everyone.